already? Just click on the
Just ask me. I can look and then I
request
can, huh?
permission to record. I got it.
Okay, perfect. I can also give them to you. It's just so much faster if you
Sure.
ask me.
Got it.
Can't
All
we just like
righty.
record to our computer? Do we have to have permission from you? I have an option to record to this computer. Did you give me permission or?
I already gave you
Okay,
permission, I'm pretty
perfect.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you were one of the first ones coming in, I was just giving it to you as you came in. But
Okay.
now we have more of the masses and it's a little much. Let me make sure that there's no one in here. Okay. Any last minute questions?
No, I
So
just want to thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Sorry, I'll let somebody else ask a question.
No,
Thank
no,
you for
you're fine,
explaining.
Marilyn.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Marilyn.
it.
my request to host record to the cloud is grayed out.
You can't record to the cloud. It has to be to your computer.
Okay, so tell me how to do that.
If you just push, I'll just do it for you. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
perfect.
see.
Because I don't see where it says I can do that.
Yeah, it's not letting me do that for you.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Weird.
I'm looking at it too, and I normally can record and I know how to do that, but
Huh. No.
strange.
Do you have like a Fathom note taker or something like that that could record for you? But I don't know how if we'd have to put it in the room too with you.
Yeah, I was using Otter, but I don't know if we're still using that. The team might have,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Lisa, I had one quick question.
Hmm.
Sarah here. Sorry. Hi.
Okay.
You're like, who, what, where, there's just faces. I love playing music when I first start. Is it okay for me to share? Because I
Yeah,
usually share computer sound. Like I have rights to share too.
I would imagine so.
I think so too. If we can record, you should be able to share, right? You're
Yeah, yeah,
probably right. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Feel free. That sounds fun.
It's always fun, right? When is music bad? Right? It's always fun.
I
Perfect.
think we are pretty good, guys. How many we have?
Lisa, did you get any additional questions from the one that you sent us? Those were really great, by the way.
Yeah.
I added to it.
You
So
added
that's
to
why
it.
it's on
Oh,
a
great.
Google Doc was I just kept feeding it as they were coming in.
Great. Thank you.
So does everyone have that document? Have it
Yes.
opened so you can fill time with those. There was some great questions that came through. So, and a huge variety. So that should be a great way to make sure. All right. So, and everyone can't hear anything. Did you play, Sarah?
No, I can. You want me
Oh,
to?
okay.
Yeah, let me try
Oh,
it.
no,
Let's
no,
see.
no. Christine can't hear anything. She's the one I just let in. Sorry. I was getting confused on context. Let's see. There's Christine. Christine, can you hear us? We are to the point that you are all on like I have two screens now I have to look at to see everyone. Oh, I see you, Christine. There you are. Okay. Can you hear me? I'm guessing no, because she's not responding. Let me go to the chat. Okay. So we have all of our experts. I think, does everyone have rights? I think everyone has recording rights. I gave Christine recording rights, even though she can't hear me. Everyone else, did you request recording rights? Okay, cool. Any last minute questions? All right. Madeline is my beautiful daughter-in-law who's helping. Um,
I have a quick question, Lisa.
Uh-huh.
When
Yeah.
the time is up, or is it going to be a warning or like 60
Yeah.
seconds? Okay.
I'm going to give you a 5-minute warning and a 1-minute warning.
Okay.
And then I'm going to shut the rooms and everyone has to come out.
Yeah, send
There
us to
is
our room,
no,
pull us back out.
just gone.
Yeah.
But once I shut them down, they're down. So we cannot, like, that's the only thing we have to be careful. Like, they are gone. So, um, any other questions?
So, Lisa, maybe I missed this, but I saw the email about shortening the time, but I wasn't sure what
Yeah.
that meant. So it's just an hour and then we're coming together to do the panel. I'm sorry if I missed this.
So I'm going to play it by ear.
Okay.
If it seems like everyone's jumping around and having lots of fun, we're just going to keep going. But if it feels like things are getting a little old and people maybe start dropping off and things like that, then we'll come back into the full panel, okay? But it's going to be at least 50 minutes in your room.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of play it by ear at that point. If you are like in your room and you're like, no one has joined me, and I want to join with another expert who maybe is in the same, and at least you guys can start playing off each other, come back into the main room. We'll figure it out, okay? I'm not, we'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes. Like I said, the numbers were not what I expected. So I'm going to shoot out, once we get everyone going, I'm going to shoot out another email just to be like, we're still going and you can come and go as needed. So hopefully we can get more people. So as soon as you guys all go into your breakout rooms, I'm going to go do that. All right. Should we start letting people in? Okay, Madeline, now you can help.
So Lisa, we're just going to our room then.
No, don't go to your room yet. Not until, so we're going to do a quick introduction. I'm going to tell people
Okay.
like what's going on and then we'll
My
go to the
bad,
rooms.
my bad.
You're fine. You're fine. I have no idea who's talking. Christine, can you hear us yet? Nice. Okay, great. Welcome, 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 all those that are joining Ask the Expert Anything. We are so excited to have you here today. Our numbers are great, where it's going to be so much fun. We have a whole panel of experts who've been receiving lots of great questions all along the way. So they're ready to answer your questions. Hopefully you have the workbook ready to go. Anyone who has not received the workbook, I'm going to go ahead and just drop that link to make sure you have it. But all the information is there. We've got bios about all the experts. We've got bios, lots of things. Lots of great information there. And then you can just explore too and jump from room to room. So we're going to wait just a few minutes as more and more people are coming in. And then we're going to start recording. Actually, I don't know if I can record because my Fathom is here. We'll see. Okay, what was I trying to do? Anyway. Oh yes, I was trying to drop. It's been a day, sorry. Here is the workbook for those. Nope, that is not right. Okay, there's the workbook for anyone who has not received it. Oh, we have, okay, so for those joining us, welcome to Ask the Expert Anything. I know more and more people are still coming in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to see if I can record onto my cloud also with my, actually, I don't know if I can. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and record it. And this is a really fun event. This is your opportunity to go and talk to some of the brightest stars in the marketing, coaching, mindset space. Some of the people who've been there exactly where you are with your business and have figured out not only how to overcome the the obstacles that you're facing, but go well beyond them and really find a way to shine in this space. So we are so excited to have you here today. I'm going to just spend a couple of minutes with a little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to let you jump into the breakout rooms, okay? So, first of all, I see, go ahead and drop where you guys are coming from. So I see people that are from Canada, New York, Dallas, New York, Richmond, San Diego, Dallas, all sorts of people. So welcome.
How do we drop something?
I'm sorry, what was that? Go into the, drop into the breakout rooms?
No, how do we put
Oh, in the chat. In the chat. Do you see the chat button down below?
You good?
Yes. All right. So in the chat, if you want to
Good job.
drop where you're going, you can do that. And
You got to mute people.
yeah, I just did. It's fine. So a little bit of housekeeping. My name is Lisa Kempton. I am your host for today. I have done this event with authors before, and it was amazing. People have so much fun getting to know and really getting those details that you might not get by just casually observing. So now we're going to try it with business marketing owners, people who are in this space helping other people to grow and achieve not just their next goal, but their dreams. That's our goal, is to help you get one step closer to achieving your goals and your dreams. So we have an amazing panel of 30 different experts, coaches, authors, speakers, all the different things. So go ahead, and your goal tonight is to go and meet them, to go and pick their brain, to find out exactly what. Ooh, we've got some feedback going on. Go ahead and mute everyone. When you get into the breakout rooms, you can unmute, okay? So our goal is to make sure that you are getting real actionable advice of how to move your business forward, even if you only have the idea of a business. Or maybe you have that business that is plateaued. Or maybe you have that business that is going strong and you're like, let's keep this train a moving, and let's keep it going, and let's keep the momentum. Wherever you are in your business, these experts have been there too, and they're here to help you. So, does anyone need me to drop that workbook again? Do you have your workbooks? I'll go ahead and drop it again. There you go. And so this is the way it's going to work. You have control over your experience, which means you get to choose which breakout rooms you get to go to. If you look either at the bottom of your computer or you tap on the screen if you're on a phone, you will see a symbol that looks a lot like a Windows symbol. That is the breakout room symbol. If you tap that, you will see a list of the different breakout rooms available to go to. 2 of those rooms are closed. I kept them there to keep the numbering, but there will be no one in those rooms. So if you want to just go hang out and have like a rest moment, you can, but nothing's going to happen in those rooms. Other than that, all of these experts are here to answer your questions. And feel free to try and stump them. I think that would be amazing. They're going to be recording their rooms too, so that you have the opportunity to come back and hear that advice again. You don't have to try and absorb it all in this one moment, but you can really take it and absorb it and come back to it again and again and really get the help you need to launch your business into the next level. So I'm going to open it up for any questions. I'll be in the room, and my darling daughter-in-law, Madeline, will be in the room also, helping out if you guys have any tech issues, so no worries there. Other than that, Does anyone have any questions? Raise your hand because there's too many people. I can't see you all. Or just unmute and tell me you have a question.
Lisa, it's Simona. I'm going to be talking about podcasting, and I'm not sure which room I'm in. Would you be able to tell me?
Okay. It's in alphabetical order.
Oh,
Room 30.
thank you.
And have I given you rights to record? I'll just look.
I
There you
think
go.
so. It looks like
No,
I
now
can.
you have them. Andrea. Yes, what is your question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
On the original page to register for this event, in the FAQs, it said there were multiple dates. Is that
Yes.
the same event on different days, or is it just multiple days of this one event?
There will be different experts on the different dates.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
And maybe some of the same. Definitely could be some of the same, but definitely not going to be the same panel. Is it Nikia? Is that how you say your name?
Yes. Where did you say the breakout rooms were? Where can we find them? And it's Nakia, yes.
Okay, Nikia, are you on a phone or a computer?
I'm on a phone. Do I need to be on a computer?
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
If you are on a phone, you're going to tap the screen and an icon is going to be on the actual screen, not in your menu.
Okay.
And it's going to look like, and you can tap it now. You should be able to see it. The rooms are open. It looks like a Windows icon, like if you're for a Windows computer or something like that. And if you tap on that, it will open up and cool. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anyone else with questions?
This is Sheila, and I do not have a room window showing up. Am I assigned, or do I need to pick a room that I'm
You're going to
interested
pick a
in?
room, Sheila.
Okay. Thank you.
But if you have any issues at all, just stay in the room and tell us where you want to go. You can either drop it in the chat or you can just tell us once the numbers get a little smaller and we'll put you there. Like we can put you into the whatever room you want to be in if you can't figure it out. So either
Thank you
way,
so
we'll
much.
get you where you want to go.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Stay in the room the whole time, or do we travel rooms?
Travel rooms. Go talk to all the experts. This is your ability to you have 30 minds that you can go pick. Go do it.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Is there a scheduled time frame for
so we're going to spend at least 50 minutes in the Zoom room, and then we're going to come back and have a large group panel. Oh, Sheila already went to the room. I'm gonna have to, she went to the room and now she's like, where am I? So we're gonna break in just a second. She'll figure it out. Anyone else have questions before we break? All right. I wish I could have all of our amazing experts introduce themselves, but we have 30 of them. And if they only took 30 seconds apiece, we would be here for 15 more minutes. So I want to give you all the time to actually ask questions. So grab your workbook. Ooh, Jane has a question real quick. Yeah, Jane.
Yeah, I'm sure I just got on and I don't know how to get into a room.
Give me a second. I'm going to let everyone else go and then I'll show you exactly how to do it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone who has any questions at all, stay in the room. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of you. Experts, go ahead and go into your rooms. People, if you know who you want to go talk to, go.
Hey, hi, I'm Dawn. I'm known as the self-trust coach. So if you're second guessing, struggling with procrastination, or wondering how to stand out without burnout, that's what I help you do. I help you cut through the noise by building self-trust as your strategy. It really is the ultimate strategy. It's the strategy that makes all other strategies work. Because when you think about it, we have to trust ourselves to make the bold decisions. When we're not full of self-trust, we're more reserved in our decision making, or opposite of that, we're more rash. So we rush into it instead of being strategic, instead of trusting ourselves to take the time we need, to not take too much time by buffering, by over analyzing, over researching. So what I teach is that self-trust really is the foundation. It's not just a mindset. It is actually an operating system that we want to build within ourselves. It is a strategy because it only takes 3 skills to achieve anything. There's a lot of noise out there, and I truly believe in making things less complicated. There's enough complicated that we can't avoid out there. And so we want to bring in ease as much as possible. And so let's really be honest. All it takes to achieve anything is to make decisions, follow through on those decisions, and then have our own back on the other side of the results. Now, what that means in the have your own back piece is evaluation for data, not drama, and celebration. And that means celebrating not just the end, but the process, celebrating the wins and the lessons along the way. Because when you're evaluating for data, you are gleaning valuable information. You are getting valuable lessons along the way. So absolutely, we want to make decisions, follow through, and have our own back. And when we fuel those 3 skills with self-trust, your success is inevitable. It literally cements your success, because what happens is you keep making the bold decisions from the data that you glean. You keep following through on the decisions you make. When we make firm decisions, follow through is so much easier. Because when we don't want to follow through, if we've made the firm decision, we have put it in our calendar, the only reason we wouldn't follow through, it's easy to uncover. It's either discomfort, intolerance, or it is some other strategic perspective that we need to look at. So when it's firmly decided, often when we come to that, discomfort intolerance is the main reason why we don't follow through. We know we want to do it, and then we just don't do it. It's because in the moment, it's easier not to. That's really the truth behind it. And our brain is wired. There's this portion of our brain that is wired for safety. It wants to seek comfort. It wants to avoid pain, and it wants to conserve energy. And doing something new, even though you want to do it, comes up against that. So when you have self-trust, you just anticipate that. Of course, when I've made the firm decision, I don't have to second guess it. I don't have to tell myself that I didn't make a firm decision. You know, oh, the reason why I'm not wanting to do it in this moment is because that's how my brain is wired. It's not a big deal. So we have to learn how to embrace discomfort. We have to anticipate it and allow for it. But hey, it's not all uncomfortable. Here's the truth. There is going to be discomfort. There's the discomfort of growth, and there's the discomfort of staying the same. One fuels you, it grows you, it has you moving towards your capabilities, to becoming who you want to be and achieving what you want to achieve. The other means staying the same. And look, you're amazing right now. You don't need to change. But there is, while there is the side of us that wants to stay safe and comfortable and effective and efficient, there is the side of us that craves challenge, that craves growth, that craves to serve in some sort of way, to make an impact, whether it's in your family life, in your business, in your community. There's a part of us that always is reaching for that as well. And so we want to satisfy that. If it's a whisper in your heart, it's meant to be answered. It's meant to be out there. So we have to get used to discomfort because it's going to be there anyway. We're either going to feel discomfortable because we didn't do it, or we're going to feel discomfort because we did do it. But what we can do is make sure that we equip ourselves along the way. So what we teach at the Self-Trust Coach is to implement comfort plans. Doesn't that sound lovely? Comfort plans. So I'm going to tell you what that means. Comfort plans, we are often seeking comfort just for that very reason I just gave you, whether there are the discomforts of doing something new, the brain saying, hey, this is either feels unsafe or and not actually unsafe. That's a whole nother thing to talk about. But when it's just like, I don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable, it's going to be too hard, it's going to take too much time, all of those things. When it comes to that, our go-to comforts always pull us away. Most of the time, our natural go-to comforts aren't bringing us forward. They're actually pulling us back. So for instance, I'll give you an example. If on my calendar, it is for me to go and send 5 pitches to, with my press release for my new book. So I'm going to send that to 5 news outlets. This is a real thing right now, actually. And in the moment, I've scheduled it. I want the result of that. I want people to know about my book. In the moment, I know I'm not going to want to do it. My go-to comforts, my habit comforts used to be, and maybe these sound familiar to you, they used to be things like stepping away and going for a walk, or going to just hang with my dogs for a few minutes, or, you know, scrolling on social media, or going to catch a workout class. Nothing wrong with any of these things, right? But they're pulling me away from the task at hand. They're pulling me away from what I want to accomplish, what I had decided that I wanted to accomplish. That's on my calendar. So what we want to do, and comfort plans mean working in intentional comforts that actually support you in moving forward. So these can be broken down into 5 different categories. I write about this in the book, Master Your Inner Dialogue. That was my first book. And it's all about how we relate to our inner dialogue. I promise you, this is not about rainbows and daisies and fluff. We don't do that. I don't believe in affirmations because, at least if you don't believe them, I don't believe in just saying things to yourself, hoping that eventually you'll believe them, because what that does is actually signal to your brain that you're lying to yourself. And that does the opposite of building self-trust. It actually fractures your trust. And we're not wanting that. Look, we have a lot to go up against in the world, especially when we're reaching for big goals, big dreams. And the last thing we need is a fractured self combating everything that's going to come along. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be wins and losses. It's just part of it. And so what we really want is a united front to tackle everything that we're going after. And the way that we accomplish that united front is by building self-trust. The kind of self-trust that fuels you, that creates internal motivation and momentum when motivation is waning. It's the kind that says that I can roll with these punches because I know I'm here for me. So again, Master Your Inner Dialogue, go check it out. There's actually a private podcast. If you want to message me, I'll send it to you. And that is all about changing your relationship. So again, not affirmations. We're changing our relationship with our self-talk. We're identifying the origin. We're defining the lens. We are determining and driving the tone that we hear it in. And we are continuing the conversation, and we are creating comfort plans to support us through the discomfort, but comfort plans that move us forward, not the habit go-to comforts that actually pull us away from our goals. So we want to make sure that those are the comforts that we're putting into place. Hello, Bennett. Welcome. Well, if you have any questions, Bennett, please just speak up, but I'll just keep talking about moving forward with self-trust. I was just talking about mastering your inner dialogue. It is the greatest influence in our decisions, in our follow-through, is how that inner dialogue, how we speak to ourselves more than any other voice in the world. And so I wrote a book called Master Your Inner Dialogue. And I was just offering that if anyone that watches this later or is in here with us would like, there's a free private podcast about the same that is really useful. And it's about changing your relationship with your inner dialogue. I don't believe in affirmations. I don't believe in speaking essentially lies to yourself. If you don't believe it, it doesn't mean it's an actual lie, because probably other people believe what you would be saying in affirmations. They believe that about you. But if you don't believe it yet, what it actually does is fracture your relationship with yourself, because your brain hears it as a lie. And what we need when we're confronting goals, whether they are business or personal, there's enough out there, right? There's enough hard to overcome. There's enough challenges, and we don't need to have a fractured approach. We need a united front. And so that's why self-trust is more than a mindset. It really is a strategy, and it's the strategy that makes all other strategies work. So we want to really pay attention. And the way we do that through mastering our inner dialogue is identifying the origin, the lens, the tone, and continuing the conversation. We just don't let it land as if it's fact, because the best thing I ever learned when I first started working on my own self-trust was you don't have to believe everything you think. It's amazingly freeing when you recognize that. I don't have to believe it, and I can tune into it. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. Maybe it's just reminding me to affirm myself. So that's the two invitations that I offer to everyone, is when you hear words that seem to dismiss your progress, or seem to say you're not enough, or you're doing it wrong. I like to share often, my go-to statement was, "What's wrong with me?" And I said it kind of jokingly and laughingly for years. But what happens when we do that is confirmation bias is real. Our brains start to answer that question. Even if the true answer is nothing, which, by the way, I want to tell you all, the true answer is absolutely nothing. But when we do that, our brain just wants to. Our brain loves to answer questions, and it loves to be right. So it's like, oh, this must mean something's wrong with me, and let's go answer it. Let's go find all the ways that something is. And so we have to be intentional with that inner dialogue. And so we can continue the conversation. What's wrong with me? Now I can clearly answer with nothing. And sometimes I make mistakes. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not telling myself any kind of fluffy, flowery language that I'm not going to believe. I'm just being honest. Nothing's wrong with me. And I'm either, I'm not really feeling up for this right now, or I'm a little off my game, or, this isn't working the way I wanted it to. Let me learn from it. Let me see what I want to do differently and how I want to move forward. So that's how we start to master our inner dialogue, is creating a relationship with it so that we can have a united front towards our goals. And when we can do that, so we've made the firm decisions, right? When we have self-trust, we don't do the second guessing and the spinning and the overanalyze. We just make a decision, because we know on the other side of it, we're going to have data. We're going to make a clear decision. We're going to own that decision, even if, and this is really important, even if the results don't happen the way you wanted them to, it doesn't make the decision wrong. I really want that to sink in. When you make a decision, even if it doesn't turn out the way you want, it doesn't make the original decision wrong. You made the decision based on the best information you had at the moment. You decided, even if you would decide differently now, because of course, hindsight 2020, we have to remember we have what we have when we make the decision. So we have to have our own backs. I made this decision. I own it. Now let's see what I want to learn from these results that maybe didn't turn out the way I wanted or did turn out the way I wanted. That's where that evaluation piece is so incredibly important. We have to make sure that we are learning at every step of the way. You are your best teacher. You're going to learn more from yourself and from happy accidents and mistakes. We rarely learn anything from things going perfectly. In fact, when they do, we have a hard time actually accepting it as something that we created. Does that happen to you guys? Hands raised? I bet several would. So we learn so much. We can actually look forward to mistakes. That's why failure isn't really a problem. Does it feel great? Absolutely not. But some of the biggest growth happens on the other side of a failure because it's the data we need to know how to move forward. It's the data we never may have gotten if we didn't have the failure or the loss or the mistake. So important, right? So we want to make those firm decisions, knowing that no matter what, you're going to get data. And we want to make firm decisions so that you know, no matter what, every decision leads to a result. Some we like, some we don't like. And it doesn't make the original decision wrong. So this is how we fuel our decisions with self-trust, is by owning that they are our decisions, that we've made them with the best information we had at the moment, and that we're going to have our own back on the other side of it, which means we're going to evaluate for lessons. We're going to evaluate for wins. We're going to celebrate those wins, and we're going to celebrate those lessons. That's what it means to have your own back. So to recap those 3 skills, it only takes 3 skills to achieve anything. And when you fuel them with self-trust, and remember, self-trust is not just a mindset, it's actually a strategy. It's the strategy that makes all other strategies work. So we're going to make decisions, follow through, and have our own back. And within that, have your own back pieces to evaluate for data, not trauma, and to have your own back. And also to celebrate. Sorry. That is always it. Those are really, everything else is noise. We need to distill things down to their simplicity. Does it make the doing those 3 things any easier? No. There's going to be discomfort either way, but we don't have to make it more complicated. And when we're fueling them with self-trust, we have our own back and we grow our discomfort tolerance. And we have to, because look, I said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times. Discomfort's going to happen. There's the discomfort that grows you, and there's the discomfort that keeps you the same. And that discomfort often leads to regret or resentment. And the discomfort that grows you leads to increased capacity. It's amazing. You prove to yourself every day, I promise you, how much you can do. I love to tell people, like, what we're so afraid of. I just want you to remember one thing that used to be so scary to you that now you just do and you don't even think about it. It's huge, right? Like, we have to remind ourselves that our discomfort bubble changes. What used to be inside the discomfort bubble is now nicely planted in the comfort bubble around it. It's like things start to move out the more we do them, which means that you don't have to stop just because it's uncomfortable. It's like, yes, uncomfortable makes sense. It's new. I can have so much compassion for myself why this is uncomfortable. It's new. I've never done it before. But you know what? There's lots of things I used to never do before that now I know how to do and actually have mastered. I bet there's so many things that you can think of. Nakia, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yes, there are so many things. This is such a good lesson, a good reminder for me, because self-trust is kind of how I've had to navigate my life. Like, I have to trust my own decisions because a lot of times people didn't give me the information that I needed. And so I had to trust my own judgment and then live with those consequences.
Yes.
So I think it has really given me the power to do things in fear. Like just do them anyway is a huge motto for my life. So I appreciate this.
Love that. I love it. And you know what I would do? This is what I offer inside of I have this program called the follow through formula, and I want you to have it because I just think it could be so useful for you. Start an I'm so impressed list.
Okay.
I want you to write just at the top. I keep it on my phone, honestly. I have clients that keep it on Google Docs so they can access it from their computer or their phone. Whatever is easiest for you, written piece of paper, totally fine. At the top, just write, I'm so impressed. And I want you to write all the things down, all the hard lessons, all the things you've endured. The simple things. I wrote one time that I was glad I didn't lose my mind with the grocery store clerk. she was not very nice, but it doesn't matter. They're all wins. We want to be proud of ourselves. And when we're in those moments of having trouble reaching for that, this list really serves well. And it's also fun just to keep a running list. You keep adding to it, you keep adding to it. And each time you go to add something, you can't help but see 3 to 5 things you wrote above it, which is really
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. What are you working on these days?
So currently, I am working on building my Facebook group. I'm a lifestyle and wellness coach, and so I'm trying to build my community and my clients.
Love it.
So I realize I need to narrow down my niche a little more and be a little clearer in my kind of in what my offer is. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think I've been nervous about being too narrow, but I think it just will be helpful in getting my message out there better. So,
yes. What are you thinking for that?
So I'm thinking, I'm more of an empowered action coach, and I really like to help women through lifestyle transitions. So just different ones, career, empty nesting, relationship. So I do think I'm going to focus on empty nesting because it's definitely a subject that's super important to me. It is where I feel like my target demographic is right now between the ages of 30 and 50. It is something that I can speak to consistently. And then, of course, like I can offer other things, but I feel like as a nurse and as a mom, I've gone through that transition several times. And so I do believe that that's probably where I'm going to focus on the next 3 to 4 months.
Perfect. I think what's so beautiful about that is you just pick the empty nesting, but then in your messaging, you can talk about, hey, is empty nesting affecting your career? Or are you noticing that you're showing up a little differently
in your relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
So
yes.
I think that's so brilliant. Like just picking one, and you could pick any one of those and do the same for the other. And you can test that too. But starting there is great because you're not losing the others. You're just using them as content and giving yourself a really focused niche to so that people can identify themselves. That's what really matters. They need to be able to identify themselves as the person you help. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. I'm looking for a pen so I can write your name down. I just drove from home to work, so I had to have everybody off camera, but so then that way I can follow up with you and we can probably get connected or whatever.
Yeah. And if you can't find one, you can take a screenshot.
Oh, duh. I didn't even think about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what about like anything that you want to brainstorm? You have me to yourself in here, which is so fun. Anything like you want to brainstorm, any kind of like storyline or pitches or?
No, I think now that I was just in another room and I think narrowing down my focus, I do kind of want to brainstorm. I'm torn between, I am a nurse by trade. I've been a nurse for the last 20 years, and I do not use that to my advantage enough. Mm-hmm. My husband complains and says, like, why aren't you specifically talking to nurses? And I understand that, but I don't just want to talk to nurses. So I feel like when you start that conversation, because nurses are very cliquey and we're very territorial, I don't want that to be my only space, right? So I want to hit other mom groups because I feel like, not that nurses have their own thing, but I do feel like I want to incorporate other moms as well as nurses. So I do believe that my message will.
Yeah, your niche is what we just talked about, right? Like empty
Yes.
nesting, and then you bring in career.
Yes.
But you go and belong to nurse groups, and when you're in
Yes.
those groups, you speak just to them.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's another thing that I'm not really sure. Like, I engage in other groups, right? Like, I try to participate and be encouraging. I don't want to feel like I'm poaching their people. And so I'm trying to figure out the most respectful way to lead people to my group. Is it just having a conversation, you think, or just kind of
to follow, right, in the groups, and you just think of it as just giving value. Like, I'm just chatting, like we're just
yes,
like talking about things. And if they want to talk more, or if it seems like it's an ongoing conversation, I might say, hey, you want to take this to direct messaging?
Okay.
Like, I actually have a few things that I would love to offer you for free.
Okay.
If you want to jump off. And obviously we'll stay friends here, so no pressure if not, but if you're open to it, let's get into a DM chat. You can totally do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, like, I'm happy for people in my group to find other groups or whatever, but I just want to be respectful in other people's group. I do have some ideas to get more engagement in my own group. I definitely notice that I get way more engagement when I hop in and do a video. And I do leave some journal prompts for people to take and leave. There's not a lot of engagement on them. However, I know that people are using them because they'll message me later and say, thanks for this. Or if I talk to them outside of the group, I know that they're using them. So I'm encouraged by that. So I wanted to do a live group every week, and I wanted to do it in Zoom, but that's not getting very much traction. So I think I'm just going to go live in my group.
Yeah.
And then as that builds, move it to Zoom. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay.
Brilliant, because you already have the data. That's what I like.
Okay.
Really looking at the data. The journal prompts don't get that much action, but they're people are using them. So keep those up. You get more engagement with the video.
Okay.
So that is data. Meet them where they are. And start to pay attention to which videos and which lives get more traction. Every bit of data informs you what your people want.
Okay. What's funny is it's a random vent about something that I'm going through is what gets the most engagement. I think then people are like, oh, I definitely, they can see themselves in me or whatever I'm going through. Like, I was just talking about taking my 17-year-old with his friend on the last trip that I'll probably be driving them on because they're both driving now. And so many moms can relate to that. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be driving you around anymore. Now who am I going to drive? Or so I do think some of those random moments that I have of my own.
Connection is really mattering right now. People want real live people. They want you being authentic. They want you sharing. They want to know you, and they want to see themselves in you. Then they want to also know that you can help them. So that's great information to have. Okay. It's happening everywhere. I offer so much insight and tips and tools, but you know what gets the most traction? I wrote a faith book about my dogs that's launching tomorrow, and the pictures of my dogs go wild. They love it.
Yes. Whenever I post my grandkids or them doing something fun. So yeah, that definitely is. So I do think it's the more relatability, and I'm better at conversation, and I'm definitely better in person. So I do like my static posts because I do still work full time. And so I like for you to have that information to go back to. But I have noticed that my videos that I just kind of do and I save, and that's working for me. So I'm going to continue that. But I do think I'm going to focus my message more on just the empty nesting part and build from there.
Talk about anything. When you make your offer, just like, say, look, if you're an empty nester, whether you're struggling in your relationship because of that, you're struggling in your career because of that, or maybe you're just struggling with having a less full house. This is exactly what I help you with.
Okay.
That's the kind of offer.
Thank you.
That's when you make it so clear. So you can talk about all the things, the grandkids, the stuff. When you're making your offer, you just want to make it clear. Like, this is, if you're struggling with these things, this is what I help you with.
Okay. Perfect.
And look, you can say, I love to say, you know, and look, you've seen me, you've seen my videos, is if I were you, that's what I would say. You know, I'm experiencing the same thing. So not only do I know what you're going through, I have the tools through my coaching and the skills to help you manage it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time.
You are so welcome. It was so good to meet
you. I'm excited to meet you. I just saw this event yesterday. I don't do as good of a job of hopping on LinkedIn as I probably should. I'm supposed to be on 15 minutes 2 or 3 times a week, and I don't do as good. So I almost missed this. So I'm glad that I followed my SOP and did the work I was supposed to yesterday. So
good. Amazing. Well, keep up the things that are working well and keep collecting those.
Okay.
And
perfect. Thank you so much.
Impressed list. It's so fun.
Yes, I can't wait to use that.
You're so impressive. You have to remind yourself of that. It's what gets me through the days when I'm like, ugh, I can't even.
I know.
I'm like, yes, you can. Look at all the things you've done.
Yes. And you know what? And I use that with my children quite often when they're stuck in a struggle. I just don't use it for myself. So yes.
It's a good reminder.
All right.
It's always the simplest tools and tips that work the best.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Nakia, good to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Jane.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. It is, you are a confidence expert?
I'm actually a self-trust expert. And so I've written, well, 2 books now, but I talk mostly about I believe that self-trust is a strategy, not just a mindset. It is the operating system we need to set and achieve goals. It's actually the operating system that I would hope we would all develop. That's the mission that I have. But I do it through the lens of setting and achieving goals because it's such a good magnifier for when we're missing self-trust, as well as how to build it. Because there really are only 3 skills that we have to build to achieve anything. And that's, everything else is noise. And you'll recognize this. It doesn't make any strategy that you've ever seen before not useful. It just means when we boil down self-trust fueled 3 skills that I'm about to share with you, it really is this simple. We just have to make decisions, follow through, and have our own back. And within that have your own back piece is to evaluate for data, not drama. And
so
to
the 3 are again,
make
number
decisions.
1 is
make decisions.
Make decisions.
2 is follow through on those decisions. And 3 is to have your own back, which means evaluate for data and celebrate both wins and lessons. And when we do that fueled by self-trust, it becomes this operating system, this cycle of success. You cannot fail if you just keep doing that, because you're always learning whether the result of that decision and follow through was wanted or not. You're learning what did work, what didn't work. You're celebrating yourself, which creates internal momentum and motivation and gives you the data you need to make the very next best decision and then follow through and to keep going. Because when we make, what we notice when you don't have self-trust is decisions are more second guess. They are put off. There's the over-analysis, the over-researching. And
paralysis. Yeah.
Yes. And fueled by self-trust, it's not that we don't have doubt. And people get often confused. They think that self-trust means that you never doubt yourself and that you always do everything you said you were going to do. And that is not true. You do not become a robot, I'm afraid, when you build unshakable self-trust. You are still beautifully and dynamically human. What self-trust really is the ability to stand with yourself through that. So instead of what I always teach, and specifically in my book, Master Your Inner Dialogue, is the heart is going to come, right? Like, we can't stop it. What we can do is create a united front towards it. But when we are fractured internally, trying to combat the challenge and the difficult and the hard that comes with doing amazing new things, we make it that much harder on ourselves and we delay the success.
Yeah, I'm in a place where I'm at a point of transition. I just published a book of poetry, and it's called
Congratulations.
Love Songs to My Soul.
Oh, it's
Transformation.
beautiful. Are you on all authors?
No, on all authors. What is that?
There's a website. I just finished my second book. It's launching tomorrow. Actually, it's releasing tomorrow. And I found allauthors.com, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's authors, but they also there's a paid version and a free version. I did a paid version. It was really cheap. I think it was like $69. But they start tweeting about your book. You start getting followers that you can send updates to. I don't know, it's pretty fun.
Thank you for that, because that's because what I'm getting ready to do is I've got the book written, but I have to do the prologue and the epilogue.
Okay.
And I've got a deadline. I've got a small support group, one of the groups I'm working with, and the book title is called Iron Woman: Reclaiming My Spirit in Midlife from Ordinary to Extraordinary.
Nice.
And it's about doing 12 Ironman distance events in my 40s.
Amazing.
And then moving into and how that has be able to create it. And the love songs to my soul is really started out because I've dedicated to all of the wise women in my life. And as a wise woman, I want to be able to share that experience of how I was able to overcome. And one of the things that I think is really important, it actually comes from my heritage as a Swede Finn. I had a great grandmother who talked about the Finnish concept of sisu, which is you just stay with it until you get it done. And so, like when in my third Ironman distance event, the winds were horrific, and I got blown off at 53 miles into the bike ride because as I came to the turnaround and I was getting ready to go down the hill, I reached down for my water bottle as I came out to the open and I was blown over. And so I had road rash down my left side, and I got up and I straightened out my bike handle and my bike, and I got back up and I finished the race.
Yeah, that's what I call serious perseverance.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And so that perseverance, it's something that I think that we all have it as part of ourself as being a wise woman. And I know that as I be able to express that and share that we all have that, and we can have that. And this is what I found out with my sister, is that she says, you do that meditation, because I used to tell my students this, go out and find a tree. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go up and approach the tree and ask it if you may enter its energy field, and then sit with your butt next to the base of the tree and ground your butt into the ground with the roots, and knowing that the sap flows upward and it takes the energy from the sun and it transfers toxins into life-giving oxygen. And so it flows back between the sun and the earth. And we can ground that. And if you can ground yourself into that tree, you can deal with anything.
I think it's important to have something to ground yourself with. I think it's different for everyone, what they choose that is, but that is a key part of just, I think what you're describing, which is so good. I mean, we can teeter between, there's the perseverance that comes from embracing discomfort for growth, for transformation, for expansion. And then there's the times when we force ourselves to keep going because we're afraid of not. Whether that's noise that we've heard growing up, whether that is some rules that we carry for ourselves. And that's more from pressure, from not enoughness. And we want to be really intentional about which one it's coming from. Because the way you described it sounds so beautiful, like it's self-support. It's actually, this is who I want to be. That's fuel. Even though, you know, the hard is very hard, and that's intentional hard. We all choose intentional hard. Ironmans are intentional hard that stretch us, right? Starting a business, writing a book, those are intentional hards that we choose for growth. And that's important to recognize because so often we are seeking comfort. It's actually wired into us, right? To seek comfort, avoid pain, and to conserve energy. There's that one piece of us, but there's also the piece that loves to grow and expand. And I think what we see when people are having trouble following through or getting their goals done or getting back up off of the bike is we seek comforts that deplete us instead of filling us up. And so this is such a good example of you, like, it's worth it. The discomfort is worth it.
Yeah, it is.
For the
And
expansion.
particularly once you have finished it, and once I knowing I've gone through that, I can handle anything.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think,
and I think that's an important lesson. So you've got a book coming out?
I do.
What's the name of it?
So tomorrow's book is called, they're wildly different. My first book was Master Your Inner Dialogue. It's more like a guide to changing your relationship with your inner thoughts. So my mission is to combat the whole speak affirmations to yourself thing, because really what that does is signal to our brain that we're lying to ourselves, which actually creates fracturing of trust, not building of it. And so I teach a way of actually relating to your inner dialogue in a way that supports you and moves you forward. The book that's coming out tomorrow is very different. It's called Trust, Surrender, Obey, Faith Lessons from My Dogs. And so this is walks that I went on with my rescue dogs, and I would say things to them, and then I would hear it as if, like, what if God's saying that to me? Like, be still, slow down, come. And just how I was able to ground into that and learn so much about myself and patience and humility.
Oh, I'd love to be able to. Are you on Facebook?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so I can just go to Dawn Let It?
Yeah. And I think there's only, it might be, you might have to put a 7 at the end, but search and you'll recognize I look like this on Facebook too.
Okay. So I put Dawn Let It, and if I put a 7 behind it, that might help.
It might help. Yeah. You never know. I never have gone that way. And then, or you can always just look up the self-trust coach. That will bring me up everywhere.
Self-trust
what I'm more
coach?
known as. Yeah.
Trust coach. Okay. I will do that. And thank you. It's been really a pleasure talking with you. It's been delightful talking to all these different people. I'm so glad I got on here. Yeah.
Tell me, okay, so when do you have to have that epilogue and prologue done?
Well, the first I want to get the first draft of it done by the 2nd of August, and then I want to publish it by October.
I'll be looking for it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
So exciting.
And this book that has just come out, and I see myself as because I've done all of these different things, and it's exciting me again. Because I realize that I haven't been as active as of late, and so and trusting my spirits.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
It's so funny. One of the, not funny, haha, but like so interesting and true that we can get separated from that in a way, and especially when we're working on projects like books or preparing for a race.
Yeah,
it's easy to lose sight of all the other amazing things. So I always encourage, and I would love for you to do this if you want, but I always encourage my clients to start an I'm so impressed list. And you just keep it running. You keep adding to it all the time. it's not like another thing to do. It's just like fun, like that things that you recognize. I'm so impressed that I completed that. I'm so impressed that I got up in the bend when I got blown off the bike. I'm so impressed that I didn't lose my patience at the grocery store. Like, count it all. It really serves in those moments when it's hard to connect to what's amazing about us when we're not feeling so amazing. If you go to that I'm so impressed list, it's a really great tool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm going to take a look at the book as I've got a kitty cat that is just.
Yeah, I love animals so much. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see him. Yeah.
I can't.
He's
but
not.
I know he's there.
I just know he's there.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
there
just
he
love
is.
animals so much. So I know it's very interesting. I sort of thought that my book was a big departure from the first one and from my work as the self-trust coach. But now I think of it as more of a deepening. It's more like this is what happens when you tune in and you start to listen to your inner wisdom, when you're not, what I call, my analogy is, often we're living in the lobby noise, right? It's loud, it's bustling. It's not bad, it's great. You know, there's like our friends' voices, there's some of our doubts and insecurities, there's like experts, there's all these voices. But we have to intentionally make it into that inner room, into the quiet of our own wisdom, into the quiet of our source or spirits or God, whoever, you know, what you believe in, what works for you. And that is the place where my book was born. And so I see it now as more of a deepening than a departure.
Yeah, so the new book is Trust, Surrender, Obey.
Yeah, so it's trust, period, surrender, period, obey, period. And then the tagline is faith lessons from my dogs, from my rescue dogs. Yeah, super fun. Tomorrow morning, I can't believe that it's here. Tomorrow morning it launches.
Oh, so this is it's brand new. Wow.
Brand new. Yeah. So my first book came out and I didn't even know this. It's so funny how timing works. My first book came out exactly 1 year ago.
What was your first? I think I know what was your first book?
My first book was Master Your Inner Dialogue.
Okay. I think I know your book. I think I read that. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I remember checking in on you. That was, so you have book number 2 just coming out.
Yep. So fun. Different. Very different, but really it's beautiful. It's going to touch a lot of hearts. At least I hope so. And it was very necessary for me to write. Like, I needed to get it out of me. So if it helps anyone, that's great. But it's helped me a lot just by getting it out. So
inner dialogue. That's just so, yeah.
Yeah, we have to quit, you know, and what makes my book different is I don't believe in affirmations. I was just telling Jane that. In fact, I vehemently am against them because they signal to your brain. And when you are saying things to yourself that you don't believe, I mean, if you believe it, say it all you want. But if they're in general, affirmations are things you don't believe yet. And it signals to your brain that you're lying to yourself. Right. And that does the opposite of building self-trust. So what we want to do is relate to our inner dialogue differently. We just want to build a relationship with it, not try and paint over it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what are you working on these days?
Me? You're asking me? Well, I'm an actor singer, and I go around performing. I just had a singing gig today, but I'm really focusing on trying to get more TV film work. Awesome. I mean, my heart was originally doing musical theater, but then I'm from New York, but then I moved to LA.
Okay.
So I'm trying to network and promote myself, really.
Right. What are you finding most useful?
Most
or maybe
useful?
Not. What's most frustrating? Sometimes that's the better place to start.
Well, it's funny because all of a sudden I have this new coach who is very popular. She has been all her life a very successful casting director, and she's working with me, and she's giving me like amazing feedback. And so she helped me write 2 notes to try to get a new manager and then an agent. And I realized there's so much more that besides the letter itself, I need to redo everything. That's all the work they say. They look under actors access and they see sketches of your work. So I need to work on that, fixing my redoing some of my work that they're seeing.
Yeah.
Because it's like the best work I've done is not on there.
Can you do that simultaneously?
Yeah, it takes more time. That's I always have to have help doing that stuff. I have to ask my husband to help me or that stuff. Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take?
Well, it shouldn't take that long. It should just take a week.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was to pay someone tomorrow, right away, I'd be able to just do it. But I have to go according to my husband's. He's looking for work too, so I have to go according to when he's ready to help.
Yeah, maybe you sit down and map that out. It's really important. The reason why I asked that is because our brain wants to say it's a lot, and then a lot becomes something that is too much, and then too much becomes I don't have time for it, or I don't know how, or I have to wait for hubby. And so we have to be really firm in defining what is it. Okay, it's going to take an hour, or it's going to take 3 hours, and then let's see, can we divide it into 6 30-minute sections? Are we dividing it into 2 1.5? Being clear and honest with yourself is the best way. Now, you may find when you start working on it that you want to do more, or you may find it doesn't take as long as you thought, or you might find, okay, I'm going to add one more 90-minute block. Use it to learn, but we don't learn anything when we're stuck in it's just a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. Just mark it in the book and write it all out. That's my problem. I remember being in support groups and people would write out their whole week and they would say you have to schedule when you're going to clean your place out because otherwise you won't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find scheduling very useful. I will tell you what I see after coaching thousands of people. Most people don't schedule because they find it tedious, or they don't like it because they don't follow it. And then it seems as a reminder of what they're not doing. And so what I like to share is the schedule is a tool. It's nothing more. It's not your taskmaster. It's not your boss. It's only going to have on it what you put. And if you need to move it around or decide you want it in different places, that is your right. You don't answer to it.
Right.
So when you start to build a schedule in that way of this is a tool for me to accomplish what I want to accomplish. That's it. That's all it is. Then you can start building it in a way that supports you. So you plug in what you want to do for the week. And then at the end of the week, you look at what worked about that. What do I want to switch in the timing there? I didn't do this that time. Instead of beating myself up, I'm going to look, would it be better on this day? Would it be better at this time of day? Would it be better in a shorter block? Would it be better in a bigger block? That way you're working with yourself instead of being ugly to yourself and working against yourself.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I definitely love hearing you say that.
It's for you. It's all for you.
Yeah.
No, and that's my favorite. I'm going to leave y'all with that because it's my favorite, what I call lens to operate by. All of me is for me. And when you
clock, I was answering a question and I was like, oh, I don't know. Let's just close it. So I hope that was amazing for you. I hope that you got your questions answered, but we're not done. We are now having a panel discussion. So if there's a question that you didn't get to ask, or you think that someone else might have an additional insight, this is your opportunity. You can raise your hand, you can raise your physical hand, or you can put it into, ooh, Sheila, good job, 5 rooms, nice job. You can put it into the chat and I will ask those questions. I also have been getting questions from people throughout this whole experience. So I am happy to kind of give those to the panel too. So, all right. Who has a question that they want to ask? Don't be shy because this is your opportunity to get so much knowledge. And if you experts have questions for the other experts, go for it. This is your time too. Suzanne, okay. I've been told that you are awesome. Oh, Cece, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's it. I know there's a way of doing it, but I was like, I'm too tired.
You're fine.
Okay, so for room 21 was, I think, Marilyn. Actually, I was in the podcast room and it was fantastic. I couldn't leave. I just had to ask so many questions. So I think I peppered her with so many questions, Simona. She's just like, oh, please, Stacey, don't come back. No, she was good. So Marilyn, I kept seeing this about like getting clear on your purpose, your message, your unique ability. Like, how do you hone in when you have a life of things? I mean, everybody kind of knows what they're interested in, I think, in that way. But
Yeah.
how do you really hone in on that? Because I am a nurse in palliative care. I do love people and I love caring for people. Is there anything else I'm supposed to add to that?
Yeah, there is. And actually, I lost my electricity when I was working with somebody. And so I did definitely watch my recording. So I talked quite a bit about it. And thank you so much for asking, Stacy. And I also shared my freebie. And this is what came up a lot in the couple of people I spoke to. So it's a really good question. I use a formula called life experience plus skills plus passion equals purpose. And when you really hone in on those three things, you automatically are ignited to talk about what you're meant to do and who you're meant to help. So we get so caught up on the avatar and the result, which I think is important. But what's more important is who you are in that unique ability to help that avatar to their results. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but basically, when you have, like I was just talking, I think it's gonna be fine. The person I was just talking, she's in the military and she's a happiness coach. That's a perfect example of somebody who wants to work with frontline workers. She automatically has the language to help them. She knows
Right.
what they struggle with. She can bring her skills and passion to bring them to happiness after what they struggle. You as a nurse, what is it that you do, Stacy, that you want to do? I don't want to take too much time from everybody, but like,
No. Yeah, so I have actually a place here. It's in Niagara, Ontario, a respite place for people to come that have a diagnosis of cancer in community. And then the next week is for caregivers. And so I went back and got my certified life coaching practitioner so that I could be there for people when they come here. So yeah.
I'm going to give one quick thing that was really good for her and that I've been teaching my coaching clients is come up with an acronym for your product. So I'm going to explain that really quick because it's going to be very quick for you to speak about to anybody. And for you, honey, I'd have you go to different organizations, start having a talk. Because once people know what you offer, they're going to travel from all over to be with you because I could already feel your nurturing, healing energy. So a quick acronym, so it's not all about me. I have a course called Soul Finder Academy. The acronym is the SAS experience. It's subconscious thinking, alignment with your soul ignition, synchronicity. And I take them through that and it takes them to a result. So I would suggest anybody who's building a business, come up with an acronym for your product. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And ChatGPT is amazing to help you do that. Like if you know what you want it to be, but you can't quite get the right words together, like, it works so good to help you with those things. All right. Who else has a question? Or does anyone want to piggyback on that last one? All right, Sam, go.
Yes, I do. And Marilyn, I love what you said, and I'm going to absorb some of that. The other thing, Lisa, when using ChatGPT, we really have to teach it about us. So if you're going to use any of the AI, it has to know about you. You can't just go into ChatGPT. And I'm not a ChatGPT or AI expert. It's just this is what I do for me and my clients. So I work with a lot of new coaches. So I've figured out how to use ChatGPT effectively for my business and for my clients. So it does work amazing. However,
I love it.
You got to work with it.
Definitely. Yeah, don't give it too much power. Mark, you're up.
Okay, I don't even know who this would be for, but here's my question. I am a career coach and a resume writer. I focus specifically on director level and above, especially like VPs, C-suite, and board level folks. And I've worked with that population a lot, but I am gradually moving that direction. And so I want to kind of hear from people like I just increased my prices significantly to get to that executive level. But what's happening now is my pipeline isn't full of executives yet. And so I'm getting fewer people. So like that transition as you kind of shift your ideal client, the fear that comes with that, the kind of that transition being so difficult. Has anyone been through that? How do you handle stuff like that in that transition? So I know that's really vague and kind of generic, but I'd love input from anybody who has it.
I just went through this briefly, but I'm going to let somebody else answer, Mark. I just switched my entire business after 18 years. So if you want, I want to see who else wants to answer because I want to give people, but I'm going to put my email in here. and I'm happy to give you some more feedback on it because it is.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy
I was
to.
actually,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say Monica Louie, who's a Facebook ads expert, she might be a great one to talk to because she's all about that targeting language. So she
Okay.
might really help you with that too. But who did I interrupt?
I was just gonna say I also went through that. In 2020, I did a lot of like kind of I'm known for paid workshops now, but back in 2020, I talked a lot about using quizzes for lead gen, which are still fabulous, but I attracted a lot of brand new kind of coaches, consultants with that particular topic, and realized that I was really best suited to serve that client who is hovering between the 100K to about 250, sometimes up to 300K mark, who's ready to scale. That is who I'm hardwired to serve them best. And so I've really had to make that shift. Now that pool of people is much smaller than newer business owners. So they're still out there. Like, don't get me wrong, you can build a multi-million dollar business just serving that smaller pool of people. But part of it's a mindset thing of knowing there's going to be a shift that happens. There's going to be some things that fall away, and it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And it doesn't mean you should do a U-turn, right? I always talk about to my clients about when you make this type of a shift, it's like you slow down a little bit to change lanes. We're not doing a full U-turn here. But there is a slowing down that can happen before we speed back up again. And that's normal. And then getting out there with content that really makes a name for yourself in that community and calling it out. Like, here's who I'm serving. Here's what I see VPs struggling with when they are looking to, like, you being very specific. I talk a lot about you're already doing, when you're already doing 15 to 20K months and you're super stretched thin, like, here's what that looks like for you. And here's where that, like, I call that out very specifically. And that's attracting more and more and more people who identify with that.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
wanted to, if I could, Sarah here. Sorry. Hi, guys. Anne Marie's one of my favorite people in the whole world. Mark, by the way, she's a genius at this.
As of
so
yesterday.
good. She's so good. But what I was going to say as well with that is to the mindset, right? So remember, real success, when you make a shift like that, it's literally only 20% strategy. It's 80% you. Right? You really have to get that down, and understanding this strategy, like Anne Marie just laid out so beautifully, is knowing exactly what they're struggling with so you can speak to it, of course. But the rest of it is you believing this is your job to do, and remembering that money always flows to where the perceived value is highest. And a lot of the times that perception is your perception of what you're offering. And so remembering that and keeping yourself on track there with the mindset, and then getting into the strategy of like, okay, what are they struggling with? How can I be clear? You're going to be fine. And during that slowdown, if there are things you can slow down, as far as your burn rate, do that. But remembering you are really in charge, and it's 80% what happens between your ears and how you decide to approach that. You got it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, you got this.
Thank you.
All right. Elaine, you're next.
Sorry, I'm still learning about the audio and stuff. I'm going to give you kudos. This is the first Zoom meeting I have ever spoken in. So still learning all this stuff. And Suzanne is amazing. So one of her suggestions was time blocking. And I know I get the gist of how it works. So my question is, does anybody have a tip on how to decide how much time to allocate? So do I just pick an arbitrary time and see if it fits? Or because I need a way to stop working, or I'm here 10 hours later still on the computer. And so I need a way to tell me, this is the space I have, and you have to get it done, and then leave and go do something else. So that's kind of my question.
All right, Sherry, I think that you wanted to answer this. You're muted.
I'm going to answer from a completely non-productivity expert standpoint. I use time blocking all of the time. And the biggest thing that I have learned is estimate how much time you think it's going to take you to do something and cut it in half and put that as your time block for the first time. The reason I say that is because there's that old adage that things take as long as we give them space for. And what I found is that the longer that I gave a task, the more time it took. You'll be surprised when you think it's going to take you an hour to write those 2 emails you need to write. When you put 30 minutes on your calendar, how far you're going to be. So
Okay.
that's just a simple tip I learned the hard way. Now I'll let the productivity experts weigh in.
I'll weigh in too, just because this is my thing too. Like for me, what I've been talking to my clients a lot about is just do it dirty, because that extra time it takes to go from 80% to 100% is the time is where your productivity is going out the window. And so, there's a lot of people are just like get her done, that type of thing. I like do it dirty, because it's like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be pretty. It just needs to get done. And sometimes like dirty is better than anything else, because then you're just in the right mindset to make sure that you're moving forward instead of getting caught up in the details. So that's my little thing that I've been saying all the time to myself included. So did someone else want to speak on that? I think Dawn, your hand is raised. Who else is raised?
Yes, I would love to speak to that, because I think that, as the self-trust coach, we do a lot of focus on make decisions, follow through, and have your own back. It really is the 3 skills that it takes to achieve anything, those 3 things. And when it comes to following through, the firm decisions we make on our calendar matter. And so we want to be intentional about the time blocking. We want to do it in a way that supports your life and what you want to accomplish. The schedule is just a tool. It's a tool to get what you want done in a way that works for you. So it's not a taskmaster. It's not meant to question your ability or try and force you to do things in a smaller amount of time or a bigger amount of time. So my hope is that you would just experiment based on your best guess. How long is this going to take me? And then you do it. And if it takes longer, you say, oh, now I know I need 10 more minutes or 20 more minutes, or I needed 15 less minutes. When we learn from ourselves the data, instead of moving into judging ourselves for not getting it done in time, or for whatever we choose to do with the time when we take less, or if we start to draw it out a little bit longer, that's when we lose the self-trust and the forward momentum. So make your best guess. Do it. Evaluate for data, not drama. Make the adjustments as you move forward so that you're creating a schedule that works for you and for your goals.
I'm writing that down. Evaluate for data, not drama. That is like the best thing I've heard all night.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, Donna, go.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Elaine. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Something you said kind of triggered me, and I wanted to bring it up. You said something about, well, I need to know how long things are going to take, or I'm going to be working 10, 12 hours a day. So then I thought to myself, is Elaine being strategic with what's on her to-do list? Because we all have a to-do list that's never ending, right? It never ends. There's constantly things on there. But do we as business owners have to do it all? And by that, I don't mean go out and hire 6 new people tomorrow, because you may not be in a stage of business where you're ready to do that. But look strategically at what's on your list. What's actually revenue generating from that list? And what is admin, nice things to do, but not directly tied to revenue? And I would suggest you prioritize those revenue generating tasks and make sure those are getting done in your day first. So time block time for those, whether you take the time, cut it in half, or you do the suggestion of just trying it and then see how long it took. But make sure you're being strategic with that to-do list so that you're not stuck at your computer 10 hours a day, because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm running into, is I just get pulled in, and it's like I jump from this task, this task, this task. And at the end of the day, what I actually wanted to get done doesn't get done.
Yes. So I want you to flip that script and be proactive instead of reactive.
Okay.
Love that. All right, Sammy, you're up.
Yeah, just kind of going off of that. I guess I'm not really a productivity expert, but I do help people get their things done. And a tip I learned when I was actually a teacher was set 3 priorities for the day. The first one is the thing you're absolutely going to get done, and then you can just be done for the day. The second one is, okay, if I get that first thing done, then this would be like a best case scenario. I would like to get this done. And then third would be, okay, I got those other two things done. I want to do this one. If you happen to get through all three of those things, and they can be as simple as make a phone call, send an email, and delete something out of your drive. And then if you get those done, you move on to those other things you have. But we put so much pressure on ourselves to be productive and get these things done. And our worth and our business's worth is not tied to that. So just give yourself some flexibility. And it takes, like, I've been in business for 5 or 6 years, and it still takes me a while to figure out how long it's going to take something or to do something. I had the same problem when I was a teacher. I taught for 10 years, and I could never figure out how long an activity, even if I did the year before, would take, because sometimes it takes longer and sometimes it takes less. And just set a time. I'm going to work for 15 minutes. This is what I'm going to work on. If I get done, great. If I don't, that's okay. There's always another day.
Yeah. And I've learned this from some ADHD people, which we have an ADHD person on who works with ADHD people. But like, if you know that you struggle with motivation and you struggle with like, those certain things, like putting those first when you have a lot more of, that motivation, that willpower in the bank earlier in the day, then, because there's certain things on our list that we like to do. There are little pet projects that when we're like stressed out, we go to that. And there's other things that we avoid like the plague. So like,
Yes,
just being cognizant
definitely.
that that's fine. It's fine that you have those tasks, but just, like, there's nothing wrong with you if there's certain things you don't like to do. But if they still need to get done, then just be really honest with yourself. Like, when am I going to do this? And how long can I actually do it without completely burning out? So,
Wow. Y'all had such great advice. Thank you.
all right. Anyone else? I think we're good on this topic. Okay, Sue, you have a question.
I don't have a question, but I just want to upload whoever actually designed this system. It's really great. Means for the first time I am participating, and it is really amazing. Means I just got invitation and I just happened to join, and I'm totally blown away. So I just wanted to say thank you. I don't have any question, but I would like to add actually 2 cents exactly what your previous Ms. Sammy said. They're exactly the same thing, because we wear like a 17, 27 hats, and I used to start my day with the task I'm most comfortable with or something which I really enjoyed. So I may spend whole day creating Canva designs, and at the end of the day I felt so horrible because I didn't achieve anything. I felt really I wasted my day. So now I have my list, as she said, exactly like prioritized. Unless and until those high priority things are not done, I'm not going to my next task. And so even if all my things are not done on my list, still at the end of the day I don't feel crappy. I really feel I achieved something. So I just wanted to add that. So true.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Was anyone else? I don't think there, and let me look and see. Any other questions? I did see someone say that they do 90-minute intervals for their time blocking. So I think actually that's a really nice amount of time. I don't know about you guys. The people who say 20 minutes, I'm always like, that is not enough time to get anything done. I can't take a break every 20 minutes. Like, no. But 90 minutes is a good. Just going through the questions. And Sue, thank you. I am the one that organized this, and it just, it was a lot of work, but I know how impactful it is, and I wanted to bring it to this audience. Oh, I love this. Suzanne, do you want to say out loud your tip that you dropped in the?
Which one?
Oh, did you do more than one? The one about schedule your business as if it's a client.
Oh yeah, I think that's where a lot of us go astray when we have competing priorities or we don't know what to work on first. So we talked about this in my room. A lot of us don't understand that we're the CEO of our life first, then our business second. So if you can't run your life, you have no business being a business owner. Can we just call that out first? And so get your life together, okay, so that you can have a good business. And so I think part of the problem is we just are an employee and we're showing up in that way. So ask yourself the questions: how does a CEO need to run? So how would I run this as a CEO? Would I be doing these things? Would I be running around like a chicken with my head cut off? No, you would not. I promise the CEO of Nike does not do that. So call in whatever CEO you want to emulate and then say, now how can I make decisions about XYZ person? Okay. And I mean, with all the AI tools, if you really wanted to, you could say, how does whoever insert Brett Shuford into AI? How would Brett Shuford make this decision for me? Right. If Brett Shuford is your CEO model, and it'll give you some examples there. But I do think we have to understand, first and foremost, you've got to start hacking your brain for what you want it to do and quit acting like your brain knows what to do. You are the inputter for what you want your brain to do.
I love that. That's great. And then someone dropped in the comments that they learned from Sterling something, and I lost it, that basically something that is going to make it so that they don't run ragged in their business. So I don't know what they were referring to, Sterling, if you know what. Oh, it says, I think what Sterling showed me tonight might be the whole key, what I was looking for, to not build a business that burns me out and I end up hating.
Yep. Just super quickly, I just show people how to not do one-on-one sales calls and to do one weekly group sales call for their high ticket. So that's what I was sharing today.
Nice. I think everyone in this room is like, woohoo. Please, can I do that?
I was telling them, I'm sure we all see the same ads, those ads that pop up, and it's like, do you want a full calendar? And they show like a Google Calendar stuffed with all these calls. And I'm like, that's the last thing on the planet that I want. So, and I had that situation, and I had to figure out how do I go from doing all these one-on-ones to group calls. So, yeah, nobody wants trust me, if you haven't had a full calendar, it sounds great. Oh, all these sales calls. And then you get a full calendar and you want to jump off a cliff. So
yeah,
nobody
it's
wants
even worse. Get a full calendar of not the right client.
Or the no-shows.
That is the worst thing in the world.
But the ghosting's the worst.
I don't know. I had probably like 40 people on my calendar that all were not, and I had to deliver for them, but they were not the right client at all. It was the worst. I was so drained by the end of those 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I'm glad.
All right. Any other questions? We've got this amazing panel. Take advantage of this. This is like, you're going to get so much more out of this than you would reading a ton of different books or going to a ton of different webinars. So ask your questions.
I have a question for him. He says go to group calls, but membership group calls, the live show, turn up show is so low. The percentage, it's not just my membership. Even I'm part of many memberships. Some memberships live call, even if 1% people show up for the live call, it is really a miracle. So how do you go from one-on-one to group coaching if the live call show up percentage is so low?
Just so I'm clear, are you talking about specifically a sales call, or are you talking about when you go live in your membership group and getting
live in the membership group?
Talking about program.
Live in the membership group.
Yeah,
okay,
so that's a little different.
Okay.
Typically do sales calls. Somebody else might be a better fit to answer that
question. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a membership for 10 years, so I can tell you that retention, community building in between those calls is really important. Making sure they know what they're going to do, not letting things lag, not letting people come on and do a lot of storytelling. If you run a very tight ship, people show up. I've always had people showing up, but again, I don't want to be the one with the loud mouth in here. I just have a lot to say. And I did have one for 10 years that was successful, so.
Nice. Anyone else with the group coaching? Because that is a big thing. A lot of people want to be able to do group coaching and memberships and things like that. It's a great model, but how do we keep it successful? Angela.
I wouldn't change doing a membership. I wouldn't switch it to anything, high ticket or anything, because the truth is to keep your members occupied, it's all about showing them that you care. As long as they know that you care more about them when they are struggling than they care about themselves. And that doesn't mean to say you stay up all hours and that you're on the computer with calls for them all hours. It just means that you show up, because that's what they're paying for. They're paying for contact with you. And what happens for me is that I do workshops, like the lady was saying about paid workshops. We have a workshop every month, but it's an action-packed workshop. They go away with some transformation. So when they come in a call, the other thing they've had before they come to that call is our membership handbook. And in the membership handbook, they feel you, they feel your passion, they know how much you care, they know exactly what they're going to get, and they know the price of the membership. When they come to that call, they're coming to sign up, literally. They're walking in, the only thing that they've got is a few questions about, the times that they have to give, or which way can they pay, or something like that. But actually, they don't come to the call unless they're going to join. And that has been transformational. I don't have sales calls with people who don't want to pay. It changes everything. And the thing is, they've already experienced you because they've tasted you. There's sort of little touch points for you as a person, for you as the compassionate side of you that shows. And it's completely revolutionized my business anyway.
I love that so much. And it's hard. I mean, so I'm going to ask you, Angela, how do you keep that sustainable? Because I think that's the hardest thing about building a community for a lot of people, is not get totally burnt out doing it.
I think originally I thought that, being that community leader was me showing up, that they had to have one-to-one calls with me and that sort of thing. And that's what I've stepped away from. And this week they all applauded me when I said, do you know what? You cannot contact me on a Wednesday or a Sunday at all. I don't even look at my phone anymore. And that was a big thing for me, because I am a person that shows up a lot. But what they need is definite times when they can be with you. And as long as they've got those times, and they're group times, by the way, they're not one-to-one times, they're group times, it's up to them to show up at those times. You don't go chasing them, you don't go persuading them, but you are in a community where there is contact between each other. You really have to foster community, and community means that we care for each other, that we collaborate, that if I'm not there, somebody else steps in. And you can only do that by modeling it. So to begin with, there's a little bit more time that you have to give, but genuinely, the more that you model it to each other, the more that you talk about it, the more you show each other that they are empowered by each other, not just by you, and that you equip them to do that, you make it possible for them to do that, then it takes the pressure off you as the community leader. I've got a team behind me now of VAs, and also some of the members who've become almost ambassadors. So they'll fight for me. If I'm ill, I mean, last Christmas I just had to stop, and they were just like, I'll take that group, I'll do this meeting, because they know I care. And that's the biggest thing, when they know your passion for them is stronger than their passion for themselves. In those moments when they don't know how to cope, they will stand in the gap. They will stand up for each other. That's what makes the difference.
I love that so much. Suzanne, did you want to add?
Well, I run two different memberships. One is a lower ticket month-to-month membership, so people always have the ability to get out. Most of that retention rate in that is about 15 months. I just want to say, I run a higher ticket membership that they're in for 1 year. The retention rate on that at this point is 3 years. People just never, ever leave. That's a good and a bad problem, because I only have so much capacity. But what I will say is, I have a community manager, and I will say that is the most important thing that I have, because the content on the in-between, I mean, they see me all the time. It does allow me to do a little more one-to-one, little 20-minute check-ins with people. I can leave voice messages via text and those kinds of things, because I have someone making sure that there's things showing up in the groups for people to look at, and they're checking in. And I think for me, that has been some of the glue that's kept the communities together, is there is constant things happening in the groups for people to look at, which has allowed me to do the most important things for me, which is do the actual check-ons on people. And I I am in their boxes all the time. I mean, I am a big audio message person. And so that has enabled me to be like, I keep calendars of when I know they have something big coming up, and I'll call them before their big meeting. Hey, I'm just thinking about you. I'm sending you confetti vibes. Let's go. We've got this. Check in with me on the way out, and I think that is a big differentiator. So, if you're looking at things like that and you're trying to understand the difference in membership groups, that might be one way to think about that.
I think we heard from both of you guys, and it sounds like Marilyn, who also is caring, is the biggest thing. Like they have to know that you care. And then that makes up for a lot of other things, is if they really know you care. So, all right, Sue, you had another question?
Yeah, he mentioned about having a group sales call, and that concept I don't know because my sales call are still one-on-one. So if he can explain that,
yeah,
because
Sterling, you want to go into your group sales call a little bit more? Like how do you facilitate that? I don't know how much you want to give away for free tonight, but
it's not even that. I literally taught that for most of my sessions. So if you find my link afterwards, I won't have to, the people that don't care about that don't have to listen to it. So
okay, perfect.
it'll be in my session. I'll get the YouTube link and everything.
Yeah,
Lisa,
so the recordings will go out later, and I'll make sure, Sue, specifically to connect you with Sterling, and you guys can maybe chat.
Okay, thank you.
Get Sterling's freebie from the workbook, and he'll probably be able to connect with you on that too. All right. Now everyone has the workbook, right? There's so much amazing stuff in there, guys. You do not want to miss out. There is so much in that workbook. So if there was a question that you think of after we get off this and you're like, dang it, I should have asked that. I bet you it's going to be in the workbook. Or it can put you into... Go ahead. What was that?
This is Jeremy Butterfield. Kelly Walker, I was just wondering, since I have ADHD pretty bad, the pretty intensely, not badly, right? Why label it good or bad, right? On second guessing yourself, I'd love to know how she makes sure that the top thing is the top thing, because your intuition could be telling you something new, and that might be better. But how do you know that it's the thing that's really going to move the needle the most? Even though when you find yourself questioning, that's probably the brain speaking versus me directing the brain. Suzette was telling us.
All right, Kelly, this is your expertise. Take it away.
Not second guessing yourself. You know what I mean? Not countering.
That's a really good question, Jeremy. And I think when you have ADHD, one of your biggest struggles is the rejection sensitivity dysphoria. And you're so used to things going wrong and you being judged and found wanting that you get really hypersensitive to any kind of criticism or failure or anything like that. And so I think probably the best thing to start with is letting go of that, letting go of the rejection, the fear of rejection. And I would say tap into what excites you the most. Whatever you get the most excited about, run with it, because A, you're going to have more energy to put into it. B, when you're excited about something, it's contagious. And so other people will feel your excitement and you're going to love working on it. So like it's a win-win-win. And sure, some people aren't going to like it. It's not for everyone. But if you run with the thing that excites you and don't worry about the people, that aren't your audience, because their feedback doesn't really count in the grand scheme of your business, right? If they're not your people, it doesn't really count. I think that is a really good way to pick a lane and run. Just run. Go all out in that one lane with that one idea and see how it goes.
Thanks a ton.
You're welcome.
Yes, we can put the link again. I just need to go get it again, I think. Any other questions? We still have a little bit of time, but I don't want to take time if people are done. If you're tired. Oh wow, we had a lot of signups all of a sudden. Workbook. Sorry. It's kidding. We're there. We are there. It is the end.
Can I share something I think would be really valuable for a lot of these participants that I had no intention of sharing? But it seems like a lot of these people are like just trying to get into coaching or take their expertise into the world. And if this is not applicable, you guys say that's a terrible idea. But I get this question a lot, and I've had to figure this out, which is how do I price my high ticket offer? Or what do I price my high ticket offer at? Would that be helpful for people that are starting out? I don't know how advanced this crowd is, so I'm not sure if that's even helpful.
I think we have all levels, honestly.
Okay. Okay, I won't share that then if you guys feel like that's not helpful.
I think
so Andrea's been trying to figure it out, so go
having
for
more
it.
than one offer, I've heard is smart to have at least 3 or more. And so, yeah, how you know what price to throw out there? That'd be great to hear from somebody that's getting the high ticket.
So this is how I tell my clients to do it. So this is anecdotal, and I will say that on an anecdotal level, it works really, really well. And that is that there's a lot of high ticket coaches out there that will say, hey, it has to be at least this amount of money. And then people sell, try to create some group program or some one-on-one package, and they'll just label it, hey, I know so-and-so is selling this for $3,000 or $5,000. So I'm going to price it at $3,000 or $5,000. Well, guess what? If you've never sold it at that amount, and I'm going to get a little woo-woo and whatever with you guys. If that amount does not energetically sit well with you and you don't think you can sell it at that amount, guess what's going to happen? You're going to feel energetically out of alignment with that price, even if, when you say that price, even if somebody might actually pay for it. And guess what happens when you're out of alignment on your calls? Your person can pick up on that subconsciously, and you are never going to sell it for $3,000 or $5,000 because some high ticket guru tells you it's worth $3,000 or $5,000. Okay? There's a lot of people that set their price at whatever some guru says, and then they'll say some other self-imposed guru will make a social media post that goes viral, and it typically goes like this. And I'm not going to make this gender specific, but it typically goes like this. You got to raise your prices. You got to step into your self-worth. You got to do yada, 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 like you're not charging high enough. Guess what happens? These people who can't even sell it at $3,000 now feel like they have to put it up because, well, I feel like I should have more self-worth than I have and more self-confidence. So then they raise their price again. And what happens there? They have a harder time selling it. And now they think that they're broke.